When we think of modern day technology, we think of everything in the world around us and how it benefits our lives in so many different ways. But we don't often think about the times when it doesn't benefit us. But going on with that, we're going to focus on video games. So when we think of video games, we can think of anything from at-home computer games, Xbox, Wii, and even more mobile devices in our day and age, especially when it comes to phones. Usually this isn't the first thing that we think of, our phones being a source of video games, but especially with young children, this is their first access to video games, especially free gaming, because many apps on the App Store are free to all users, especially the game Fortnite. So the thing with Fortnite is it is a free game that you can play on almost any device. You can play it on your phone and computer, which is why it ended up being so popular, especially with young kids. It was very easy to download and then start playing. As we can see this, especially in recent news, there have been a lot of talk about video game addictions, especially with Fortnite. So out of 7,000 gamers, 12% are addicts, and this raises a lot of concern because we don't really know how we can monitor our gaming, because we see kids, especially if they're on their phones, you don't know if they're texting on social media or they are playing these games on their phone. So, video game addiction is kind of this hidden thing where we have to look out for symptoms. So some symptoms end up being dreaming about the game, thinking about the game when they're supposed to be focusing on other things, lowered interest in school achievement, changes in mood, especially feeling guilt when unable to play their game, decreased personal hygiene, headaches, dry or red eyes, sore fingers, neck or back, carpal tunnel, or even weight gain. So with all these very scary symptoms, as a parent, your mind may easily jump to going to different surveillance programs such as SurveilStar to monitor gaming, which can be a very good tool, especially if it is already a problem that's becoming out of hand. But it's also good to start with an open conversation with your child about their gaming habits, why they like to game, and even how you can be involved in their gaming. Because sometimes there's that generational gap, but if there's a more open conversation, it's very easy to get that out in the open, because we want our students to cultivate and manage their digital identity and reputation and are aware of the permanence of their actions in the digital world. This is one of the ISTE standards. Especially, you may not think about that with video games, but it's a very social activity. Kids usually, when they're playing video games, they're not alone. And we want this to be a positive experience while gaming, because we don't usually think of gaming in an academic sense, but gaming is a huge part of the world around us, especially when we have things like virtual reality that are coming out, where we can use this as a tool it's a game in a classroom to experience places where children would have never experienced before. So we want to bring gaming, positive gaming, into the classroom and make it a great experience for all the kids, especially so they can take these healthy habits back home, and so it is not something that can turn into a very serious addiction. So we're going to talk about some gaming sites that you can use at home and in the classroom. One is Tinker. Tinker focuses around coding, and it does it in a gaming style format, where it uses different tools to help teach gaming, teach coding styles. And then there's TinyTap, which is also on the App Store, which has a lot of different gaming toward different subjects and takes those subjects and kind of breaks them down into simpler subject areas. GameStar Mechanic, which is a different mechanic engineering style games to teach those different subjects. This one's for a little bit older than the last two, older age group. And Spelling City, which even turns spelling practice into different games online, which, as you can see, there's a broad range of different games that children can choose from that you don't really think, oh, these games are the same as playing like Mario Kart at home, but they're still all video games. So looking towards a future, if a child knows that they have the choice between playing Mario Kart or practicing their spelling, they still have that choice of gaming where it's a lot more fun and it takes them into a healthier habit in and out of the classroom. And that's the end of my presentation. Thank you.